Very well. Now, so now we come finally to our 12,000 press that has a value pack installed to get it as close to a 15K as possible. Now, the 15K is our newest press along with the 100K in the B2 market, which stands for versatility. Right? If we say the 100K is production, 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 the 15K is versatility. Versatility in terms of, again, paper. For example, we can start at 65, 70 microns. We can, as a standard, go up to 450 microns and even higher in certain conditions, and we will see that later on. We also have a pyre. The pyre has 1 meter of stack height. Again, that will help us to bring customers over to the from the offset world to complement the offset fleet with a digital press. It's very easy to use. No, it's almost a no-brainer. It's not difficult at all. It's even easier than offset piles because you don't have to be that 100% accurate, that everything has to be really, really smooth. It can even have a smaller variance in terms of the paper stack, and the machine will still feed it and register it correctly. Next to the pile, we have 2 drawers. Now the drawers, I will open them. They work very easily. I push this button twice. We have a small display. The display is telling you what kind of paper is currently loaded. And if I open them, we see how it looks inside. Now, here we have one of the sheets that we have currently loaded in drawer number 1. It's a 90 gram uncoated with 100 microns. You see it is quite thin. Usually used, of course, for commercial applications. And the maximum, this is our maximum size, 75 times 53 centimeters. Also for the folding card, it's a very nice size because you can usually have a multiple imposition in there of various boxes, for example. Now, this one has around 100 microns. We started around 70, as I mentioned. And of course, we can also print on smaller formats. We are not bound to that maximum format of 75 times 53. I'll put this back in here. Very well, we have a few guides, very easy to keep the material in place, and it's ready to go. Very, very quick, very easy to handle. Second drawer is just the same, and only that here we have a slightly different material loaded, which we will see in a moment when we start printing. Very well. Good. That is the feeder part for the moment. What I can also maybe tell you is that we do have multi-pick sensors, so in case 1 or 2 or 3 sheets are being picked up at the same time, which is usually not the case, but it might happen ever so often. The machine will detect it, it will redirect the 2 sheets and will continue printing with a new sheet. The machine doesn't stop. Again, very important so that we keep productivity up and that we don't slow down the press unnecessarily. Very well. Good. From here, we move towards our printing engine. Now, the printing engine is very similar in all of our Indigo presses. So you saw before the 7,900, you saw the 100K, now we see here the 12,000 with the value pack. They all are based on the same technology, and from the inside, they all look very similar. Now, question is, how does this work, this technology? Now, Indigo is usually referred to as digital offset, and that is the case because we have many similarities towards the offset world. First of all, we do have a printing plate. Now, from the offset world, you probably know the metallic printing plates that are rigid, and one plate is used for one separation. Now here, this is not the case. First of all, we have a foil. This foil is our plate, and we have one foil for all the separations. And very important to remember, we have one foil for all the separations, and we're going to reuse this foil over and over again during the printing. How does this work? Well, in the very first step, we're going to charge this foil. Charging this foil happens with a charge roller. It's a unit which is sitting above our foil, above our drum. This is our printing plate drum where this foil is being wrapped around. And on top of it, we have this charge roller. And the charge roller is applying a charge, minus 1,000 volts. It doesn't matter, a charge. Good. Now we have a nicely charged foil, but at the moment there is no image information. We don't know, the machine doesn't know where to print magenta or cyan or black or whatever it is. So in the next step, and as we can see, the drum is turning anti-clockwise, we have a laser which sits on top of the drum, and the laser will write an image. What basically happens if whenever the laser hits the foil will discharge. So we'll have a discharged area and a charged area. And the discharged area is our image area. So for example, we could say the laser is now starting to write the yellow separation. Okay, so it writes the yellow separation. And we have now a discharge in the charged area, but we don't see that difference because it's just voltage. We don't see this. And we don't have ink on it yet. That will be the next step. So we have, let's say, our yellow separation created. Now we need to fill this separation with yellow ink. So the foil will pass our ink stations, which we call bit units. And here, for example, we have our black, yellow, magenta, and the cyan. And here we see yellow. Now, what happens now is that yellow will engage towards the foil and will fill the separation with ink. And this is happening thanks to the indigo magic, which is that the ink is also charged. It also has a voltage. That's why it is called electro ink. So thanks to the ink voltage, which is different from the voltage of the plate, the ink is attracted to the area where the yellow separation was created. So it only fills the created separation, the separation created by the laser. Very well. Now we have it on the foil. We still want to get it onto the paper, though. Now, between the foil and the paper, we do have a blanket. Now, again, very similar to the offset world. We have a blanket. The blanket sits around our blanket drum and receives the ink from our foil that we have just seen. What happens on the blanket is that we heat the ink up because our ink is a plastic. It's a polymer, and the polymer will melt a little bit and become very sticky thanks to that heat. Very sticky, yeah, very sticky. So that you, basically, it's like when you put a plastic bottle next to a hot pan, you see that this plastic is melting and becomes sticky. It's a bit similar with our ink. It melts and becomes very sticky, and that helps us to print the ink onto the paper, which enters over here. Now, that was only for yellow. Now we still have to add magenta and cyan and black and many other inks if we want to. Now what happens is this foil, this plate will be cleaned with our cleaning station and we restart the process. So we charge it again, we fill it again with ink, we send the ink to the blanket, and from the blanket it goes to the paper. In the meantime, the paper basically runs on our impression drum, and in every round it receives one additional separation. So if we have 4 separations, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, well then it runs 4 rounds. And on each round it receives 1 separation. Very well. Good. That is the standard technology. Is there any questions so far?
Once again, there are no questions on the chat,
Very good.
Adam.
So now, what does it mean about speed? So if we talk about speed here, we talk about usually 3,450 sheets per hour in 4 colors, simplex printing. Can we go faster? Can we go slower? Yes, no. Yes, we can. Basically, as we saw before, the sheet is turning rounds on that drum to receive all the separations. So if I only print 3 separations, I run 1 round less, increasing the speed by 33%. That means our maximum speed goes to 4,600 sheets per hour on this press. And we will see the difference right in a moment. Very well. Good. So this is our print engine. And we might see it in a moment while printing. We can have a look how it looks from the inside. And now let's have a quick look to the stacker. Now here we have our stacker bridge. So that means the paper comes out from the engine and we can either stack it down to our main stacker unit, or we send it up to the proof tray that we saw earlier on already on the 100K to inspect the job, or maybe we have a very short one where we only need 10 or 20 sheets, and then this is all we need. The last thing I want to show you before we start printing are the inks. So my colleague will follow me. He just needs a bit of a longer cable, and he will follow me here over to the ink cabinet. Okay, very good. And we will see the inks over here. Closer, very good. Now, here we have our inks. So we see that this machine has 7 inks installed at the moment. 7 is the maximum number of inks we can have at one time. So we do have white, I think we will see it in a moment. Then we have cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, our 4 standard inks. And then we have a violet and orange included. So these are usually used for color gamut extension. But you can also install green, for example. We can install spot colors. So if you like, for example, a Pantone 238, and you want to install that very Pantone in that press, we can do that. We can mix this Pantone for you, we can ship it to you, and you print this Pantone directly as one color. Alternatively, you can emulate the Pantone using the 4 or even 6 or 7 inks. That is also an option. And then you have other special inks, like we mentioned before, light cyan, light magenta for photo applications, for example, or light black, and fluorescent pink. Also, again, an ink which is very strong, very catchy for the eyes, causing or creating a lot of attention. So a lot of different opportunities here, again, to add value and stick a bit out of the crowd and make your prints special, basically. Very well. Good. That is a small press overview. And to not lose any further time, let's start printing. Now, what I will do, I prepared a few jobs and we prepared a few materials. And what I first want to do is I want to show a little bit the versatility and productivity of this machine. So the first 2 or 3 jobs we will see are more located in the commercial area, because this machine can do both commercial and also folding carton. And what we will first see is a print in 4 colors and then the same print in 3 colors. You will see a slight difference in speed if you watch it closely. And we will see here first, we have 4 color printing, standard 1, 2, 1, 2. And we have always this rhythm of 1, 2 if we have 4 color printing. Very nice, every sheet is different, every sheet has a different image. And now we see, oh no, this is faster. It goes 1, 1, 1, 1. This is a 3 color printing. What does it mean, 3 color printing? In this case, we print without black. We emulate black with the other 3 colors, yellow, magenta, and cyan, and we call this EPM, Enhanced Productivity Mode.
Adam?
And yes?
There were 2 questions, and I think it's relevant
very
now.
Good. Perfect.
So I will
Please,
start
hit me.
saying.
Shoot. Yes.
First question, what was the speed of printing sheets per hour?
Very good. So the 4 colors speed, 4 colors simplex is 3,450 sheets per hour. 3,450 in simplex 4 colors. If you print a duplex, which is not a problem, it is half of that because the sheet has to be turned inside the press and the other side has to be printed. So if you print duplex, it would be just half of it, of the 3,450.
Okay. Second question, how much time is needed for ink change?
Very good question. Now, for the ink change, we can change, here we are, thank you very much. So for the ink change, it is following. We do need, depending on the ink, between 1 and say 1.5 hours. However, we don't need to stop the press for that. It means that if I change station number 7 from violet to green, for example, I can clean that station while the machine is printing with the other inks. So of course, that particular station I cannot use at that very moment, but I can use with CMYK prints or the other inks that I have installed. And while I print with these inks, I can change the other ink. And that is not a problem at all. We do that quite often to save time. So you take 1.5 hours, but really the machine stops. It's very little, maybe 10 minutes or something like this, not more than that.
Great. That's all for now.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So let's quickly come back to our prints. Now we mentioned we have 3 colors and 4 colors. Now in the camera, you won't see much, but also here without a camera, you won't see a big difference between these 2 images. And even if you do, if you only see one of them, would you say that something is missing? Yes or no? I can tell you there are many customers that use this EPM mode with no black to 30, 40, 50% of their production because it gives very good results. And there are software solutions that can decide for you. You can give them parameters saying, if the difference between the 4 colors and the 3 colors is more than delta E2, please use 4 colors. If it's less than delta E2, I can live with 3 colors, for example. And there are many types of parameters that you can set up to make sure you get good 3-color prints where nobody is going to be worried that something might be missing or that the quality might not be good. Just as a side note again, when we say that it's 3,450 sheets per hour in 4 colors, it is 4,600 sheets in 3 colors. So 4,600 sheets in 3 colors, simplex. Very good. Now, that was a first print. I want to quickly show you another one. And then I want to show you a few small things that this machine can do, which are actually very, very interesting. Now, we're going to print on a different material now. Actually, we're going to print on 2 different materials because we have a book where we have the content on a 90 gram 100 micron material that I showed you earlier on in drawer number 1. And of course, all the inside pages, they are being printed on this small book, on this small thin paper. But the cover page is usually a page that is thicker. So if we look here again onto our proof tray, we will see it momentarily, and we'll see that, okay, this is coming out, very nice. Some inside sheets, and then the last sheet is a much thicker sheet. So this is our thick cover, you see it here. And just before we printed very thin content pages, 90 grams, 100 microns. The cover sheet is 300 microns. So it's very easy on the fly for the machine to change between these 2 materials. There's no problem whatsoever. And actually what's the best here, this job is also a 3-color job. So even black text can be emulated in 3 colors. So you can also use 3-color printing for text. Up to a certain size. So if it's very, very small text, you might say, okay, that is maybe just 2 points or 3 points. It's really, really small. This is probably better in one black hit. But you can see even standard text, you can easily print it in 3 colors, and it makes your production higher because you don't only print text, you also have images in between and other graphic elements that are colorful and where you need more than only text and black, so also the other colors. Now, so this works very well, very easily for the machine to change between the different materials on the fly. You also see we printed duplex. So if you print simplex or duplex with the machine, it doesn't matter. We can just go ahead. Now, this was already very nice. Productivity-wise, very good because you don't need to collate afterwards. The book comes out already collated. You just need to cut it, and then you bind it or you staple it or whatever it is, and then it's ready to go. Again, here you have a time factor that is playing into your advantage. What I will do now is one last thing before we turn to the folding carton jobs is we're going to print this job into our stacker. And while we print it, I will go and change the material to a different material. And then we will proof it while printing, everything while the machine is running. That's the idea of this continuous non-stop printing, that we keep the machine running as much as possible. So just for you to see how this is going to happen now, my colleague will come down with me for a moment and we will see down here, this is our stacker area. In the stacker area, I will go up a little bit further up here where my finger is, exactly. Come a bit further. So you will see the sheets coming in there now. 1 second. Again, so these are the sheets that are coming in. Perfect, very nice. Now, while we are printing, we can go over, we have a look. Now we go and first of all, look at our printing engine. It's running at the moment. Normally you shouldn't open the door, but because we are in a demo, we like to show you what's happening. We see all the inks engaging and we see cyan, magenta, and yellow are active. So black is not active because as I told you, the job is a 3-color job. There is no black. Very nice, this is on. The machine is running. If you come over here, we see our blanket is being heated up with heating lamps, as you mentioned before. So we have some heat here to prepare our ink for the transfer to the paper. And now if we come even further, we see, okay, we see, for example, this drawer is currently used because we see the green light is blinking. But the drawer number 2 is not used. So what I will do is I will open it while I print from drawer number 1. and I will put another paper inside. And again, this helps me, of course, to remain productive. The machine doesn't have to stop. I open it. Now, normally I would take this paper out now, but because we know we're only going to run some sheets, I will just put some other paper on top. And okay, it has the same side. That's very good. And I will close it. And now you see we have some black material. Now we'll go to the machine. And I will tell the machine that we have a new paper inside. So of course I have to tell the machine, okay, I loaded now black material. This is what I do. Okay, very good. That was wrong. 1 second. Here we go. So, good. And now that I have black material, I can, for example, run another job. Now what I did is, I clicked on proof. So what will happen is after a few sheets, the machine is still running. We will see now a few sheets coming out on this black media with white ink. A second. It will take around 15 to 20 sheets because the machine has to find the right spot to put this other material inside. And now we see here black ink, black material with white ink on top. Very nice. I will turn it around. You will see the animals. So this is white ink on black material. Very nice. And the machine is still running. So I can check, is the imposition okay? Okay, this is a 1-up imposition. Perfect. Is the ink okay? Yeah, quality looks great. Do I want more white, less white? Maybe I can play with more layers of white if I want to. And I can also do something else. I can say, okay, I like white only, but I actually would like to see some white with 4 colors on top. So we can do this as well. So here, for example, as I mentioned, we have white only on black, and the machine is still running. Just for you to know, so my colleague comes a bit closer. You see here, our machine is running on the other. 1 second. Yeah. Right now, it will introduce the next sheets. 1 second. Okay, there it comes. Okay, so it is running the black sheets. Now we will observe them in a moment. And now the machine is continuing with the old job. So we are still having the first booklet job that we saw in the beginning. It's still running, producing. And while we produce, we can print, for example, black sheets with white ink and CMYK on top. Now also this one, very nice effect. It looks a bit almost metallic. It's not a metallic ink, it's just the inks on top of the white and top of the black paper, which give this very nice effect. And it's also the artwork, which is really nice. You can also see it here. It's very nice images that you can achieve thanks to this media, but of course also thanks to our inks. Very good. Excellent. Now, that was a bit the commercial and productive side of the machine that I wanted to show you. Let's move to the folding carton applications. So let's do the following. We've seen some of the samples of the applications explained by Susanna. Let's print them. I will print them one after the other. The first 3 will go in 1 row, and we will show you what we just have seen, just to make sure that you see that we can actually print them live here on our press. And then I want to show you 2 more things that are special for this machine, and that again can give you an added value and can open up more opportunities for you and for your end customers, just to make sure you can serve all the different needs and go to all different markets, special niche applications maybe, or special demands. So we're going to see them now, and again, a few seconds, and then the sheets will be coming out. So we will see the personal file that you have with your names on them, and then this is this one. So we've just seen this one. Okay, and then we're gonna see also what Susanna just explained you a moment ago, and the same similar thing in Violet. And I'll let Susanna again explain something in case there's something that can still be covered.
Well, okay. Now, this is exactly the files that you got and printed with our Violet just right now in the 12,000, as you can see. Every sheet is different. And we have our micro text here and our GPass coding here, and you can see it's different one to another. Maybe this one is different from this one. Yeah.
So now, what we do next. So these are the samples we've just seen. Now, what we printed now was on an Invacode Creato. It was around 330 microns, well within the range of the standard 450 microns we have for this machine. And what we can do with this machine, we can go up to 600 microns thickness. So there is an option, there's a kit, the thick substrate kit, that allows us to go higher under certain requirements and specifications. And we can go up to 600 microns, and we will show this now. I will actually have a small micrometer. I usually prefer to use the manual one, but this one will probably give us a more visible reading for the camera. And I will print, and then we will measure the board just to show you that it's really 600 microns. And as you remember before, we printed on a 90 grams 100 micron sheet, and now we're printing on a 600 micron sheet. So the machine has really a big range, or can have a big range if you configure it accordingly, to serve all these needs. So that is really interesting. And here we have the sheets coming out already. And first of all, let me quickly show you the thickness. Let's see whether we can read it nicely. Let's see whether in the camera you can see the, let's see, even a bit too high, 1 second, that's okay, millimeters. I took 2 sheets, no wonder that it's too high. So 55, 54, 55, some sheets, they vary a bit, but you see it's around 540, 550 microns. So you can easily go up to a lot of thickness. And so this was very well, works again very well on this machine. And then we have one more option that I would like to show you. For this, I will need to change the paper quickly. We have some metallized board that we prepared for you, just to, as a last feature, to show you a small cherry on the cake, so to speak. I will quickly change the material. I will be back in a second. So we're gonna
in the meantime, there was a question coming in.
Perfect, please.
Is specially treated stock or just normal Invacode board?
Very good question. So what we just printed on was the Invacode Creato, which is optimized for our presses. So usually for the Indigo presses, we do have pre-optimized material. There we have a location which is called the media locator, where you can consult all the optimized and certified material that is available for our Indigo presses. There are more than 2,000, 2,500 materials on that list. That doesn't mean that other materials don't work. Some of them don't, others, they work out of the box, but they're maybe not being certified or not checked yet. If you really have special material which has a special surface, etc., you could always go for an offline priming, for example, just to make sure that you have proper ink transfer and proper ink adhesion. This is something our customers do in case needed. Any other questions?
I don't see any other questions.
Very good. So now I will tell the machine briefly that we installed our metallized board, and we will print our last job on the metallized, just to have a nice look and feel. Now with the metallized, we also have white, obviously in use. We saw the white earlier on the black material. Now we can also use it obviously in the metallized material. It gives some very nice effects. You can play with some glossiness of the material. The white covers it a bit. If you don't put white, it is more metallic. So here again, you have several options. Let's have a look how it looks like. So here you see very nicely a metallized material coming out with white ink. and other elements. Again, Susanna will be able to explain in a second what it's all about. It's 10 sheets, so it's almost done. And here we go.
Good. So as you can see again here, this is a very nice way to create contrast between the metallized part and the white covering the metallized effect. So we have, instead to put a hot foil that may pass through another finishing machine, we create the metallized effect using the ink on top of the metallized part. And as I said, making the contrast with the nice white on top of it. And if you have a magnifier, please check the microtext code. You will see how good it's printed and how readable it is. And as I explained before as well, you can see that every sheet have different colors. And this is because of our variable data software, making each box unique. As you can see here, another sample with green, pink, and orange. And another one with blue, lighter green, and yellow. Hope you like it.
Yes.